So in this video today I'm going to make the most amazing tofu recipe you've ever had, and I'll make it taste delicious for you guys. And then to put underneath that awesome tofu, we're going to be making a fancy Mr. Noodle. So some people might find that hilarious, or some people might find it ridiculous, but we're making a fancy Mr. Noodle. So I'm going to show you how to jazz it up with some cool tofu. So for this recipe, you'll need boiling water for your Mr. Noodle. You're going to need some extra firm tofu. You can press the tofu to make it more firm, but like I always say, I love tofu in any form, so you can eat it however you like. But we just got this brand, and it's actually amazing. It's probably the most firm tofu I've ever bought straight out of the package. So if you see this in a store, I would definitely try it. It just has a little bit of water that you need to rinse off, but otherwise it is very, very firm. So you're going to need tofu. You're going to need your Mr. Noodle. You are also going to need some tamari or soy sauce. So remember I told you guys about tamari before, that's the better stuff. You will need nutritional yeast, so you can get that in the grocery store, usually with the specialty flours, or you can get it in Bulk Barn. So you need nutritional yeast. You're going to need miso paste. So this is one, I think I've seen this at Walmart before. It's a pretty good brand, and I like the white miso because it has a more mild flavor. You'll also need sesame oil and a hot sauce. So I like this hot sauce for Asian dishes. You can get that at any grocery store too. And then I also have some of my homemade everything bagel topper stuff. So the tofu again that we're looking at is this stuff. I think someone missed it. So this is the brand there. And I think we may have found this at No Frills here in Ontario or Metro. I'm not sure. But it's really awesome. It's probably the best tofu I've bought store-bought since I've been vegan. Aside from, there's another brand that I get sometimes when I'm in Quebec, and they have like an herb tofu, and it's also really firm, so that's awesome. Okay, so to start, we're going to do our tofu. So I'm going to move you guys down. So we have our tofu here chopped in cubes. So just chop enough that you are going to eat in your one bowl, or however many you're going to do. And for me, that was about 1/4 of a package of tofu. And you want to do it you're going to eat this like a soup, remember? So make them like bite-sized, don't make them gigantic. And we're just going to turn the heat on that. So we're going to heat up the tofu, and when it gets a little bit warm, we're going to put some tamari sauce on it. So for now, we're going to do our Mr. Noodle. So when I was a kid, we ate these Mr. Noodles raw, which is probably pretty gross. They're not that healthy for you, but when you're in a pinch, it's a good quick meal. And then if you can make it a little bit fancier, I'm always about eating good food. I don't want to eat boring food. So I always squish mine up because I don't like the long noodles, but you don't have to do that. And same thing with the packet. If you want to save on some sodium, don't put the packet in, but I am going to put the packet in. And then, so you can put this all in at once, pretty much. We're going to put some hot sauce. And a little bit of sesame oil. Sesame oil is pretty potent, so just, you can measure a little bit out to your preference. And I also put tamari a little bit in here. Tamari is also pretty potent, so watch that. And I did not open my miso package. I'm not very prepared with that. So this is miso. If you've never had it before, it's awesome. Even quicker meal that you can have is just hot water and miso paste, and you can make yourself like an awesome miso soup broth. So this stuff is great. And this, I think, was under maybe $6 or $7. So not bad. And when you open miso, It does have like a lid with a breather on it, so I actually keep that on my miso. And same thing with this. I'm going to get a clean spoon. This is also pretty potent, so you only want like maybe a teaspoon of it. So you're going to plop that in. And while the tofu is cooking, we're just heating the tofu up to warm, but we're going to put our hot water in our noodles. So like I said, this recipe is kind of like not really a recipe, but I thought it would be fun to do. And you just want to move this around to make sure the miso paste dissolves, because you don't want a giant mouth of miso paste, that's for sure. Another thing that you can do with this is add a little bit of peanut butter, and that will make it like a spicy peanut butter kind of dish, which is really delicious as well. So again, if you're new joining us, I'm making my favorite tofu here, and then we're having a fancy Mr. Noodle to go underneath it. So we've used extra firm tofu. We're heating it just until it's, you know, starting to get warm. This is so simple, but I can't tell you how delicious it is. I could eat a bowl just of this. So that is getting nice and warm. And then you pour, I would say that's probably a tablespoon of miso. And this part will happen really quick, so you're going to watch this, you're going to coat it all. Until just about when the miso, or sorry, just when you see the tamari like just about dried up in the pan. Make sure it's all together. And then a couple tablespoons, depending on how much you have, of nutritional yeast. And basically what you want to do is bread it. It's almost like a breading. And then that's it, and then you take it off. And honestly, I'm going to eat it right out of the pan. It's so good. The tamari and the nutritional yeast, for some reason, make this like savory flavor, which is ridiculous. So it's so delicious. My favorite tofu. I got this recipe from Bosch, which is a really good online blog for more vegan recipes. So Bosch is really good. They have a cookbook that's really popular. So that is it for the tofu. And then we have our soup here, which is pretty soft already. And then, so we have in the soup, for anyone new joining, we've got a Mr. Noodle. This is like the laziest recipe I've done. And then we've put in hot sauce, sesame oil, miso paste, tamari, and the packet from the Mr. Noodle, which you can leave or take out or whatever you like. And then we're also, I have my onions that I've been growing. If you've watched a couple of other videos, we have these onions. So I'm just going to snip a couple of them and fold these in half. This is super skilled chopping techniques 101 for you here. And we're going to put that in with our scissors. And the awesome part of this is they've been growing inside. They don't have any pesticides on them, and I don't have to wash them because they're all clean. Might want to leave some of the bits out. So we can get that in there. We'll maybe save that one to make it look fancy. So let's save that. And then we have our tofu. So again, we've got our extra firm tofu, just heated up. We've got tamari until it about dries up, and then we have nutritional yeast breading the outside. So you can pop that on there. Like that. We'll put our fancy little onion on top. And then we have our homemade everything bagel mix. So in that, I have it on one of the recipes on my other YouTube video, but we've got granulated garlic, we've got granulated onion, black and white sesame seeds, and poppy seeds, and a little bit of salt and pepper if you want. So mix that over. I got a whole bunch of poppy seeds there. Awesome. So that is actually a pretty good looking Mr. Noodle. So it's a really quick snack. I kind of feel a little bit cheap making this as a recipe this week, but it's something I was craving to eat. So let's test it out. It's a bit hot, but the tofu is just so firm. It's awesome. Let's see if I burn myself. It's so good. Like, the fact that that's a Mr. Noodle is crazy. It's so delicious. But even if you don't do the Mr. Noodle, if you do the tofu with Tamari and Nutritional yeast, you can put that by itself on some rice, and that would be a delicious meal as well. So honestly, my favorite tofu recipe of all time. I could eat it like a bowl of popcorn. It's so delicious. And you could add like you know, like other veggies. If you had cooked mushrooms that you had left over, whatever, you can add that. But otherwise, you have that amazing tofu. It's really good. That's amazing. So I think that is probably the quickest Facebook Live I've done. It's a very quick recipe, and I'm excited to eat the rest of it. But I'm also excited because those of you who've been watching, I'm having a contest on my Facebook page and my Instagram page where you can tag some friends to get an entry for the contest. And you can get extra entries by subscribing to my YouTube channel if you don't already. And I actually got the prize in the mail today. So I had this specially made by a friend of mine. She actually did the vegan tattoo on my foot. And her Etsy shop is Colorful Magic Shop. And she made the coolest thing for me, so I'm going to show it to you guys. And encourage your friends to enter the contest, or just tag more people. You get an entry for every person you tag, and you get 10 extra entries for YouTube. But check this out. It's so beautiful. So I think it might be backwards for you guys, but it says living the plant life. And it's got a very cool avocado. So this is embroidery, but even on the camera, it looks like a painting. It's so beautiful. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for joining me, even though it's so sunny outside. I really appreciate it. And thanks for everyone who watches every week. I'm really trying to like grow out my YouTube channel, so all the support on Facebook really means a lot to me, and you guys share my posts and stuff, so it's awesome. Enter my contest on Facebook or Instagram, and then watch for this video coming up on YouTube and many more videos. We have some videos coming up. I made that whipped coffee. I don't know if you've seen that internet craze. And Frank and I are also making a hydroponic garden tower, which you can also check for that video whenever we finish the tower. We're almost done. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And have a good rest of your day. And we'll see you later. Bye.